Discover who Rehoboam was and how his decisions divided the paths of Israel. Hi guys, in today's video we're going to talk about Rehoboam, the king who divided the paths of Israel, a story full of lessons and twists that you can't miss. Rehoboam, son of Solomon and grandson of David, ascended the throne of Israel after the death of his father, and the kingdom of Israel was at its height of power and riches. Rehoboam was the son of Solomon and Naamah, who was an Ammonite. His history as king is marked by challenges, conflicts, and decisions that had a lasting impact on the people of Israel. Upon assuming the reign, Rehoboam faced the difficult task of maintaining the unity of the kingdom left by Solomon. His personality and governing style would soon be put to the test in the face of the demands of the people and the contradictory advice he received. The figure of Rehoboam in the Bible is complex and nuanced, revealing the complexities of leadership and the consequences of human choices. Rehoboam, despite inheriting a prosperous kingdom, also inherited a kingdom where idolatrous customs had existed since his father's time. Also, like his father Solomon, Rehoboam had a vast harem. The Bible says he had 18 wives, 60 concubines, and was the father of 28 sons and 60 daughters. The Bible mentions the names of two wives of Rehoboam, Mahalath and Maacah. Rehoboam reigned for 17 years, and at the beginning of his reign, Rehoboam faced great pressure from the people. The people were discontented and cried out for relief from the heavy tax burdens left by their father Solomon. The tribes of Israel were overwhelmed and looked for a sign of hope in the new king. Rehoboam found himself faced with a dilemma: meet the demands of the people and guarantee their loyalty, or maintain rigid fiscal policies to demonstrate authority. Tension was palpable in the royal palace, with advisors of different opinions trying to influence the young king's decision. Rehoboam's choice at this critical moment would not only shape his reign, but also seal the fate of the unified kingdom left by Solomon. When seeking advice from the elders, Rehoboam was confronted with different views on how to handle the situation. The experienced and wise elders advised the king to listen to the people's demands and alleviate tax burdens to ensure stability and prosperity for the kingdom. They highlighted the importance of governing with compassion and justice, reminding Rehoboam that a wise leader is one who prioritizes the well-being of his people. The wisdom of the elders echoed in the royal hall, bringing with it centuries of experience and learning. Rehoboam found himself faced with a moral dilemma: follow the path of wisdom and compassion, or give in to pressure from young counselors who called for rigidity and authority. His decision would not just be a political choice, but a reflection of his character and values as leader of the people of Israel. In seeking counsel from the young counselors, Rehoboam was influenced by their ambitious, power-hungry outlook. They saw an opportunity to reassert royal authority by maintaining strict fiscal policies, believing that force and imposition would be more effective than compassion and dialogue. The young counselors urged Rehoboam not to give in to popular demands, arguing that demonstrating firmness and intransigence would be essential to maintaining control over the tribes of Israel. Thus, the king found himself divided between the counsels of the elders, who preached wisdom and empathy, and the young advisors, who encouraged harshness and authoritarianism. His decision at this critical moment would have profound repercussions on the future of the unified kingdom left by Solomon. Faced with the impasse, Rehoboam decided to call an assembly with representatives of the tribes of Israel to discuss the issue of tax burdens. During the meeting, tensions rose as different factions expressed their opinions and demands. Rehoboam, pressured from all sides, felt the weight of the crown on his head and the responsibility of a decision that could change the course of Israel's history. After long discussions and heated debates, the king finally announced his decision. Tax burdens would be kept at the same level, ignoring the people's pleas for relief. The news spread quickly throughout the kingdom, generating discontent and revolt among the tribes. Rehoboam's choice marked the beginning of a troubled period for Israel and sealed his fate as the king who divided the nation's paths. Rehoboam's decision to keep tax burdens unchanged provoked the revolt of the northern tribes, led by Jeroboam. Discontent with Rehoboam's central government was the trigger for the separation of the kingdom of Israel. The northern tribes united in opposition to Rehoboam's oppressive and unequal reign, declaring their independence and proclaiming Jeroboam as their leader. The division of the kingdom into two was an irreparable blow to the unity of Israel, generating internal conflicts and political instability that would last for generations. The rebellion of the northern tribes against Rehoboam marked the beginning of an era of divisions and disputes that would shape the future of the two separate nations. Following the division of the kingdom of Israel into two, the kingdom of Judah, under the rule of Rehoboam, faced significant political and social challenges. The separation of the northern and southern tribes marked the beginning of a period of instability and internal conflict. While the kingdom of Israel prospered under Jeroboam's rule, Judah struggled to maintain its identity and cohesion. Rehoboam was faced with the difficult task of uniting a divided people and restoring confidence in their leadership. The consequences of the division of the kingdom reverberated for generations, shaping relations between Judah and Israel and influencing future events in the history of God's chosen people. While the kingdom of Israel prospered under Jeroboam's rule, Judah struggled to maintain its identity and cohesion. The separation of the northern and southern tribes generated a climate of rivalry and competition between the two sister nations, leading to territorial conflicts and disputes over resources. The division of the kingdom not only fragmented the unity of the people of Israel, but also shook the political and social structures that supported the nation. Rehoboam found himself faced with the challenge of consolidating his power amid growing instability, seeking alliances and strategies to strengthen the kingdom of Judah in a scenario marked by uncertainty and the constant threat of external enemies. The separation between Judah and Israel marked the beginning of a turbulent period in the history of both nations, with repercussions that would echo for centuries. Even though he was faithful to the Lord in the beginning, after a few years of reign, Rehoboam and his subjects strayed from the Lord's path, adopting idolatrous practices and displeasing God. So they built altars and idols and began to practice pagan rituals. God expelled the Canaanite people from that land, but now the children of Israel were committing the same sins that those people once committed, and this caused God to completely disapprove of Rehoboam's reign. God's response to these evils and sins came to light in the 5th year of Rehoboam's reign. Pharaoh Shishak invaded the territory of the Hebrews and transformed the kingdom of Judah into a tributary state, forcing its inhabitants to pay high taxes. The treasures of the temple and palace of Jerusalem were plundered. The complete destruction of Jerusalem did not happen because Rehoboam and the people, upon seeing such a situation, humbled themselves before the Lord, who spared Jerusalem from total destruction. And this terrible attack and invasion served as a lesson to Rehoboam and all the people that there are severe consequences in straying from the ways of God. Despite the difficulties faced during his reign, Rehoboam left an important legacy and valuable lessons about leadership and wisdom. His story teaches us that a leader's choices can have profound and lasting consequences, affecting not only the present, but also the future of an entire people. Rehoboam faced complex challenges and difficult decisions, revealing the nuances of leadership in times of crisis and uncertainty. His journey as king of Israel shows us the importance of attentive listening, careful consideration, and the search for wisdom in the midst of adversity. Even when faced with mistakes and the consequences of his choices, Rehoboam reminds us that it is possible to learn from past experiences and seek paths to redemption and growth. His legacy as king divided the paths of Israel, but also left us with valuable lessons about resilience, humility, and the search for true greatness. Did you like this fascinating story? Leave your like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any biblical content. I hope you enjoyed the video about Rehoboam and his career as king. Stay tuned for more incredible biblical stories here on the channel. To the next.